Who knows what's on there?
Hi guys, it's Coach Fraser here, and that little clip was a video of my daughter horseback riding, and a couple of weeks ago she fell off her horse for the first time. She'd been riding for nearly 2 years, and that we were expecting this. We were waiting for this. In fact, we were fearing that first that fall off the horse. So today's video is about fear, and we're going to give you a tip on how do you manage fear to help you do more, achieve more, and stop holding back in your life. So my daughter falls off. She what does she do? She has a choice. She can either climb back on that horse, or she can, cry, do her, brush off the dirt and quit. And that'll be the end of it, and it'll be really tough to get back on that horse again. So she had a moment, and she made the choice to climb back on that horse, and she continued to complete her riding lesson. And at the end of it, she was pretty proud of herself, and she didn't think twice about it. No tears, no nothing. A little bit sore, took a week to recover, but she faced her fears, and she was able to carry on and do what she absolutely loved to do, which is ride her horse and jump. So God help us. So I think this is really a critical piece, because it inspired me to think about how does fear hold us back in our life? Fear is the opposite of love. Where love is balance, it's joy, it's gratitude, we can see all the negatives and the positives, but it gives us its courage and strength and all of these things. Love is a vibrational state that is so powerful. It's the strongest force in the universe. So when we live in a state of love, we attract more. In fact, we are all radio antennas. We are energetic beings that broadcast signals, and we all receive other people's broadcasts. And if you ever want to question this, you just sit there and think about a time when you were sitting in a room and somebody walked in, and you could the hair on the back of your neck stood up because you could feel their negative energy. And I've witnessed this, I've felt this, and you look at this person, they don't say a word, but man, I am not talking to that person because it is not going to be fun. So we've all experienced a similar situation. And on the same token, when we literally spread out and when we're in a state of joy, we're vibrating that kind of energy. We're sending that message to other people, and they feel it inherently. So think about what it's like to live from a state of love at all times. Do you think you're going to grow your business? Do you think you're going to have better relationships? Do you think you're going to meet more great people and attract more interesting things in your life? You betcha. So let's talk about a tip that's going to keep us out of that fear from paralyzing us. So whenever you're dealing with something that you're afraid of, the best way to do this, we absorb the feeling of fear. And it's the feeling that we get from what we fear that holds us back, that paralyzes us. And the way to conquer fear, or one tip, is to literally compartmentalize what holds you back around that fear. So what about it? So let's talk about this. If I had a fear of speaking in public, the best thing for me to do is start to look at what are the scenarios, what are the potential outcomes. And if we just look at the negative outcomes, we start to look at things, they might not like me, I might get booed. 2, they might not, if I'm trying to sell or market something, they may not buy from me, okay? 3, I might be embarrassed, right? They may even jeer or challenge me on something, so I might be threatened. And 4, worst case scenario, they really don't like me. It ruins my published speaking career. Nobody will ever invite me out to speak again, and I might even get some nasty emails. So if I look at these kind of outcomes, and I actually start to look at what are the possibilities, what's the reality that this actually could potentially happen, and maybe it's 10% that people won't like me, maybe it's even 50%. Here's the thing: can I live with that? Can I live with the fact that 50% of the people probably won't like me, but 50% will? Okay? And the worst case scenario, it ruins my public speaking career. Well, that's probably unlikely. That's probably like a 1 to 5%. And the reality is, could I live with that? Could I actually live with that if that actually happened? And the reality is when I think logically and remove some of the emotion from that outcome, I can actually make a rational decision around this thing. And when you remove the energy of the fear itself away from it, now you can start to look at this decision or what's holding you back, and you can think about it rationally. So now I just said, wow, well, okay, I think I can do this. I can go and do the public speaking because I can live with the outcome, because ultimately it's not as bad as I thought, because the energy of that fear is no longer holding me back. So that's one of the best tips I know, how to apply that to just about anything that you're afraid of, whether it's a relationship, whether it's managing a colleague. One of the things you can think about 100 different scenarios. Practice it. Write down you can write down the pros as well, and what are the likelihoods of that, because it's often amazing how often they're higher. There's more benefit to doing something than the negatives, but it's the negatives that hold us back. And the more that you balance that and you look at that and you look at the worst case scenario, you're going to find that you can overcome your fears more and more easily. And just like anything, it's a muscle. The more you practice it, the easier it gets at doing this stuff. Hopefully you'll find that tip is useful in your life. If you'd like to know other tips, if you'd like to know other things that we coach with, please leave some comments. Leave it down. What do you want to hear from us? Hit the like button. Check out our website. Hit the subscribe button if you want to hear more from Full Circle Coaching and Consulting. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.